I started thinking of my wedding day and that how I would have acne at my wedding day, and I would cry myself to sleep at the thought of that because why am I getting emotional now? 2 years later, that insecurity still makes me emotional. Hey guys, what is up, and happy Sutter Sunday. If you are new to my channel, my name is Ella Sutter. I am a 23-year-old wife and mom and girl living in the world. One second, let me lighten this back here. Okay, now that's a YouTube video. Today I am doing a video that I thought that I would never ever do. I am doing a video on my skin journey, and more specifically my experience with Accutane. Because on this very day 2 years ago, I took my very first pill of Accutane. It took me a full 2 years to be comfortable talking about it. I will be going over my whole skin journey with you guys, what my experience on Accutane was like, how I keep my skin clear to this day, and any regrets or my thoughts on Accutane in general. Then at the very end, I will be putting in all my progress pictures for all 6 months that I did Accutane, as well as what my skin currently looks like without makeup. I'm going to put in the timestamps for every single one of those in the bottom bar below, so go check that out, because if you really just want to see the pictures, just go see the dang pictures. We will go ahead and jump right in, starting with my skin journey. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and do this now. Big disclaimer, I am not a dermatologist, I am not an esthetician. If you are having skin problems or you are trying to make a decision about what you should do, what should be your next step in your own Accutane skin journey, please see a licensed professional. Do not take my advice as your own. This is just my own personal experience. Jumping back into my skin journey, I started having problems with my skin when I was about I want to say 13 probably. So my skin got to a point where it was pretty bad. I was wearing very heavy makeup. This was around freshman year of high school, and I was starting to get pretty insecure about it. It was mostly in the T-zone. So my mom, who saw that I was being insecure about it, decided to get me Proactive because those commercials work. After about 3 months, my skin started to clear up. And so that was very exciting. And so I decided, you know what, this works. I'm never going off of it. So I stayed on Proactive from the time that I was 14 until I was 21. So yes, I was on with Proactive for a long time. Around this time, I started to notice that it was working less, and I was getting more acne, which was frustrating because I was not a teenager anymore. I was an adult. I decided that I was going to stop taking Proactive. This was a horrible decision. All hell broke loose on my face. This was maybe a year prior to me starting Accutane that I had gotten off Proactive. So I started getting pimples in places that I never did before, so along my jawline, all over my cheeks, and it really dug at my self-esteem. I started wearing makeup around everyone all the time. I would only wash my face late at night. It got to the point where my husband, who was my fiance at the time, I stopped showing him my face without makeup ever. I would wait until late at night until he fell asleep, go wash my face, put on a hoodie over my head, walk back into bed, even though he was asleep, and I would go to sleep with the hoodie on. I would wake up before him, go put on my makeup, and then come back out and let him talk to me in the day. And it caused so many problems. It's so crazy to think back to it now because I'm so sad for that girl that she would cause issues because of how she felt about herself. This was getting near the end of 2016 and I was getting married in July of 2017. I started thinking of my wedding day and that how I would have acne at my wedding day, and I would cry myself to sleep at the thought of that because why am I getting emotional now? 2 years later, that insecurity still makes me emotional. Since you're a little girl, you picture your wedding day and you picture it perfect. And for me, I am a makeup artist. That should be the best thing on my wedding day because that's what I do for a living. I do wedding makeup. And that's when I finally decided that I needed to do something more drastic. I finally convinced myself to go see a dermatologist, which I do not know why it took me so long to do this. I just thought I could do it myself and it wasn't that bad and people have it worse and blah, blah, blah. Finally, I got myself to a dermatologist. I told my dermatologist I was on a time crunch, that I wanted clear skin by my wedding. And yes, I know skin doesn't work that way. You can't tell it what to do, but I was begging her, anything, please help me. She decided in January that I qualified to do Accutane. You can do research. There's plenty of people that are against Accutane. There's plenty of people that are die-hard for Accutane. There's plenty of people that Accutane didn't work for. I asked my doctor tons and tons of questions and made sure that I was 100% comfortable with every single side effect that could happen. On this very day, 2 years ago, I decided to start Accutane. The very first month she started me on 20 milligrams a day. Didn't do actual Accutane, most people don't. I took Myoricin, which is just generic Accutane, so it's a little less expensive. I got it from my Costco with that Costco card. The one thing I will say, as soon as even before I started taking the very first pill of Accutane, I prepped myself. I decided that I was going to be drinking multiple water bottles every single day. This chapstick, or this moisturizer here, homeoplasmine, that's what I used on my lips. The other thing that I will say is that as far as my mental state, which I know is a huge issue, I was so insecure. I hated my skin so much that anything that this drug did for me was gonna help me and make me feel more confident and better about myself. And so my mental state, I would say, was never affected. I never felt like the drug did anything to me. After the first month of being on 20 milligram, we bumped it up to 40 milligram once a day. And that is what I did until the end of my course, which was a 6-month course. Now, side effects. First side effect that I feel like you cannot escape if you have Accutane, if you're gonna have any of them, you're gonna have this, is the dry lips. My lips were dry as could be, but I will say I was super, super diligent about it. What I would do is I would actually pat water over my lips, put on the homeoplasmine over it, and just pray to God that my lips would soak up the water. My skin became very dry, which is also super common with Accutane. I didn't mind because suddenly I went from powdering my face, which was very oily. I would powder it 3 to 4 times a day typically, to not touching my makeup the entire day. So dry skin, that's fine by me. The other thing, your hair does not get oily. I promise you, if I didn't shower for a month, my hair would still look like I washed it the day before. It was, you know, if there's anything I miss about Accutane, it's that. Those were the good old days. The one thing that I didn't expect that I did have was I had a lot of joint pain. When I would get out of the bed in the morning, I would feel like a grandma. My elbows and my ankles would creak. I'd be, oh, like couldn't get out of bed. It just was like painful. But it's like once I warmed up for the day and like did some stretches, I made sure I stretched every day and I could deal with it. A little bit of sore muscles for clearing my skin, that was fine by me. The other thing that I would notice is that my skin seemed to be a lot more sensitive or thin or something, because say I smacked my hand on the door or something and I nicked it and I'd be bleeding, and any cuts, like say I had a paper cut, it would take like 10 times longer to heal. I feel like my side effects were on the more mild side. I was very diligent about anything that I noticed to make sure that I was doing extra steps in my day to compensate for these things, because I was committed to finishing my Accutane course. Accutane worked for me. At the end of it, in June, my skin was cleared, and I will tell you there was no better feeling than knowing that I could have the wedding that I pictured in my head. I had my wedding day, I had all my girls over in the beginning, I didn't have to hide and do my makeup in the bathroom. I did it with all of them surrounding me, and it was just the most magical day ever. My huge regret is that I let my skin affect my mental health so badly. When I was going through Accutane, I didn't tell a soul except for my family and one of my very good friends that did Accutane. Look at myself with pictures when I had acne. I was still beautiful. I was still me. It's just skin, and now I understand that, and now I've learned a huge lesson in that, but at the time I just did not get that at all. So if you are somebody who's looking to start Accutane or is having your own skin problems and you're on your own skin journey, please, 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 if you get anything from this video, know that you are beautiful. You are beautiful, and your skin does not define you. Nothing physical defines you. It really is about what's in the inside, guys. I know this is like super preacher and cliche to the max, but oh my gosh, is it true? I know you could say there's worse things. It was your skin. It was just some pimples. But if you are a girl that has acne or you've struggled with your skin, you know how difficult it is, and you know how hard it is to go through. How I keep my skin clear today, I would say that I do close to nothing. I try not to touch my skin at all. I would say over 2 years, I've maybe had 5 pimples, 5 or less pimples. And when I've had them, I absolutely do not touch them no matter what. Let it just run its course. I clean my makeup regularly, which I did at the time too, but that is super important. Girls, clean your makeup brushes. PSA. Clean your makeup brushes. I've completely cut out dairy from my life, which I think helped a lot. If you are interested in my full skincare routine that definitely helps me have good clear skin now, definitely let me know. I will do that for you guys. I'm pretty sure that is it for my Accutane story. Now the moment I know a lot of you have been waiting for, I am going to put in my progress pictures from all of my Accutane journey, as well as my current pictures of me with no makeup on, so you can see what it looks like 2 years later. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new here, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.